I think the question was about, the question says, are there benefits to seeing a sex therapist, or is it a taboo? And
Dr. Ivana was going to answer that one. Who said? Okay,
Yeah,
Dr.
so
Mil.
since we've already answered for the women, he can answer. Yeah, so because we have 4 more questions.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. This is a progressive church, so I know we know that coaching and counseling and therapy is a must. Even the best players in the world have coaches. So I mean, who are you not to need a coach? Even pastors need pastors. Coaches need coaches. So yes, you can see a sex therapist. I would advise a Christian sex therapist. That's somebody that can merge both science or scientifically proven methods with also your scriptural understanding. Because we've had people that, you've mentioned that went to somewhere and they told them to introduce BDSM. When they started flogging themselves, they knew it wasn't there. So it's better to talk to a Christian sexologist. We had to develop that in our ministry called wholesome sexuality as well. So the reason is because, again, whenever you see an unusual behavior, there's always a reason. What happens to people is that you see something unusual and you cover it up. No. If you notice that for some reason you are no more getting aroused, for some reason you are no more enjoying sex, there must be a reason. Don't just cover it up. And a professional will be able to ask you the right questions or inform you. So, like Pastor Alice mentioned menopause and things like that. That's the reality of life. Some people, they don't know what the symptoms or what the signs of that will be.
And so that is the second part of the question, because it says, as we get older in relationship, how do we keep the romance alive?
Right. Okay, so we'll dive into that as well. So, for instance, for the men as well, as you hit a certain age, because your testosterone level drops as well, so your sexual this thing can drop. Now, some men, of course, are supermen, but for most guys, there might be a dip. So, when there's a dip like that, what do? It means you have to learn how to get aroused. You have to maximize mornings because there's a natural erection in the morning. There are many things a therapist will walk through with you than your diet, for instance. What you are eating at a certain age will obviously affect your sexuality. Most men don't know that. There are certain things you are eating that is just going to knock off your libido. But you just think, oh, I don't like my wife anymore, I need a young girl. No, you don't. You just need to change your diet. You don't need to change your partner, you need to change your diet. So then, again, because as a guy, as you get older, when you had high testosterone, what it means is that you can get aroused even for no reason. But as you get older, you need to build intimacy to now get in the sexual mood. It doesn't just come by itself anymore. So that means there must be fondness, there must be closeness, there must be foreplay, both for men and for women. So if you don't know how to do that, you don't know how to hug, you don't know how to cuddle, you don't know how to kiss, you don't know how to do foreplay, you just want to jump into it the way you used to. So there are so many ways you can spice up your bedroom. Sometimes changing environment, sometimes making sure you are not too tired. One of the things breaking marriages the most that people don't pay attention to is stress. Just good old plain stress and tiredness. You are not a good sleep, a good managing of your time and the things you stress, energy. Because that's why people say, oh, nurses have bad marriages. Look, the kind of shift some of these people do. They are too tired to love anybody. Too tired to be nice, too tired to care. So some people don't know these things are the small things. It's just stress. So if you can't manage those things, some women are just running on. You're waking up 4 a.m., cooking breakfast, cooking lunch, cooking this, dropping kids at school, going for a 12-hour shift, coming back at night. Then you want to touch that woman. He's not going to be interested in anything. Same thing with the guy that is that stressed. So sometimes you guys need to manage expectation, manage stress, manage work hours. That is why working on finances is one of the things that my wife are working on a course to develop for people. Working on your financial life has incredible impact on your marriage. We have a book out there titled No Dry Season. It's talking about finances. It's a couple's devotional. If you don't manage your finances, it's not the lack of money sometimes that breaks the home. It's the hustle. You are both putting in 12-hour shifts. You guys don't want to touch anybody when you get home. When you see your bed, you're not thinking of sex, you're thinking of sleep. And you are bringing the crumbs home because you spent all your energy at work. You've used all your words at work. By the time you come home, it's crumbs. You are very irritable. You are very, volatile. You're not. So people think, she now has money. That's why she's breaking the marriage. No, she's just too tired to think of any other person that can't, do their own thing by themselves. All right. So therapy and coaching and guidance definitely will help you spice up your home.
Pastor Mildred was talking about the different dichotomy of the relationship, that when women get aroused, that's not when the men do. So I think Pastor Alice wanted her to talk about that.
I just want to introduce, so we all could benefit, and Pastor Mildred just brought that on. We did bring along Dr. Ivana, board-certified OBGYN and Christian family sex therapist. Dr. Ivana.
Sorry, Pastor Alice has made me a sex therapist, but it's okay. So I was trying to say to the men and the women that men easily get aroused, and women can take 30 to 45 minutes. Now, we've talked about several things. We've talked about menopause. Of course, during menopause, it even gets longer. So women go through low estrogen periods, or even when they're breastfeeding or pregnant. So those are seasons that men have to be, more patient with women. Men have to make sure foreplay is primary concern. And then women that are going through menopause and going through vaginal dryness and low libido can see a doctor for this. Okay, so there's no reason to have dry seasons. So a lot of people think once they're 50, it's done. But 50 is too young. I tell women, 50 is too young to stop having sex. You're literally having your kids out of the house. So this is a time for maximum pleasure and maximum enjoyment. Another issue is the cultural mindset. I think we are raised in a culture that sees sex as a taboo and sees sex as not as important. But God has created sex for pleasure. Now, one of the things that destroys marriage is lack of sexual intimacy or intimacy. And physical intimacy is important. Emotional intimacy is important. Women thrive on emotional intimacy. Men thrive on physical intimacy. So we need one another in order. So the men need the physical intimacy. It's very important to men. And as soon as women realize that, then they make an intentional effort to have sex. Women thrive on emotional intimacy, and as soon as men realize that, then they can put forth the effort for emotional intimacy, and we can all help each other. So essentially, if you're 50 and over, there are several things. Even before 50, there's medication for low libido. A lot of people don't know that women have medication for low libido, because all you hear on the ads is Viagra for men, but you don't hear any advertisement for women for low libido. But if you go to your gynecologist and you talk about low libido, and they've removed all the other factors that can cause low libido, they've discussed interpersonal stress, stress with communication, everything else, they've ruled out any medical problems, they've ruled out any structural problems, anything like fibroids, anything at all that can be causing you not to want to have sex, vaginal dryness, menopause, then there's medications for that. So just realize that there's some level of intentionality that goes into keeping intimacy in a marriage. So it's not automatic, and that's it.
They wanted us to hear it, we heard it.